Ankh and Ma'at. Ankh and Ma'at. I'm hoping that you are well. Clearly, we are meeting under some truly remarkable circumstances. I believe that most of you are probably aware now of the passing of our shrine elder into the ancestral realm. Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Se Pata has made his transition. Ankh and Ma'at, what a period. Ankh and Ma'at, Ankh and Ma'at. Um, Honestly, this is a difficult period, even though I am so aware of the fact that um, his Baba Heru's divine soul, his divine his Khat and his Ba and his Ka are all on their journey. I'm still struggling a little bit today with the passing of our elder. We'll talk about this today. Ankh and Ma'at to all of you who are joining us. By the way, I should say that I had planned to do something for Kemetic Ascension and then decided that what we should be doing is truly just simply allowing some of you to have an opportunity to speak about Baba Heru and the relationship you may have had with him. And so that is what I believe we'll be doing. Ankh and Ma'at to all of you. You know that we start Kemetic Ascension usually by asking you to tell us where in the world you are for how long you have been part of Kemetic Ascension. Even without words today, I'm not feeling quite myself. Ankh and Ma'at to Honesty Matavu. How are you? Ankh and Ma'at to you. Ankh and Ma'at to I know that name Matavu. I believe I know you. Ankh and Ma'at to you personally. Ankh and Ma'at to T. Colbin 1. Ankh and Ma'at to Sanet Shenka. Sanet Shenka, I truly intended to join you for prayer this morning, and my mother, who I'm uh, more involved with in recent months than I have been, actually was having a tough morning getting ready for church, and so I really had to help. She was really struggling a bit, and so I had to help her. So I will join you. I have to restore my aunt with you and make sure that I do come. And I had to just say dua for you and for Hemnetter Waziri for leading early morning prayer. That's wonderful. Ankan Ma'at Tehuti Ma'at Ra, be serious. Ankan Ma'at to you. Another one of our full members, and it Shinka is a very active full member. Ankan Ma'at to Benita Sutton, watching from Winston-Salem. Ankan Ma'at to you. You're always here. Ankan Ma'at, Ankan Ma'at. Ankan Ma'at to Drip Fire, Amun Hotep in Ra. Ankan Ma'at to you. Wonderful. Are you actually a full member of the shrine? That part of that name looks very familiar. Ankh Ma'at to Heru Grills, who is a full initiated member of the shrine, coming to us from the West Coast. It's so wonderful to see that you're here. Ankh Ma'at to Sen Atan Atan Ra, who is coming to us from the Windy City, a very active member of the shrine. Ankh Ma'at to you. I am absolutely buoyed by the fact that so many members of the shrine are here today. Ankamata Tehudi Forever, the Jati of Phoenix that we call Bennu. Ankan Ma'at to you. Ankan Ma'at to all of you. Ankan Ma'at to Solomonic TV, who is always here. Ankan Ma'at to our full member, Deloise Fulton, Sinette Della. I am going to completely botch your Kemetic name. If you could just include it in the chat, it would be helpful. one of our full members coming to us from Florida. Ankanma to Queen Emma Grace. Ankanma'at to you. And dua for all of your words. We see Pata Anu, Anejarak, Baaba Heru. Ankanma'at to you. Ankanma'at to T. Kobin. Ankanma'at. I think I said Ankanma'at to you already. Ankanma'at to Shane, the Watcher 616. Dua for your condolences. Dua, dua, dua. Ankan Ma'at to Sanet Cortia. Ankan Ma'at to you, one of our full members. Um, uh, Anuk Baba Heru. Yes, we are all Baba Heru. Today we must say that is all correct. Can you send me what you wrote, Sanet Chenkov? Of course you can. Is there something that you'd want to say? Do you want to read it? Or would you rather me read it? You can certainly do that. You can even text it to me if you like. There are lots of ways for you to send it. But I'm going to put the link to join here. And for those of you who'd like to come in and say something about Baba Heru, of course, in a moment we'll start with the opening of the way, just as our elder instructed us to do. We will begin with the opening of the way. I'm hoping that some of you will come in this morning. I was unable to do the opening of the way this morning. I have to say honestly, I was unable to do it. I did it yesterday. I was unable to do it this morning. I just didn't. I will do it today. I just remembered those moments when Baba taught me personally the opening of the way, and it was just a little difficult. In some moments I'm fine, in other moments I'm not. This was very challenging. In recent months, Baba also, I have not said this publicly. I will say this now to this family. Baba was really ailing and dealing with being a bit confused at times, and I struggled to speak to him. I really struggled to speak to him, and so I think that his passing is hitting me harder because I did not get to truly have the kind of dialogue that we were having over the course of so many years of our relationship, over 30 years of a relationship, really, about 30 years of a relationship. And so that is what is happening for me, I believe. Ankan Ma'ata, Adam I Am, 720. You know that Sen Curtis Jackson, one of our full members coming to us from Painesville, Ohio. Ankan Ma'at to you. Naima Ra, Ankan Ma'at to you. You remember the conversations he used to have at his shop? Yeah, he was always available to have lengthy conversations where he both gave wonderful elder guidance, and also he was available to really assist us all in understanding how to live the legacy, helping us understand what to eat, what to read, how to approach our family members, how to approach our family members who did not understand our tradition, who were uncomfortable with us being in our tradition. He was very, very respectful of the family unit. It was one of those things that was so important to him. I remembered when I was initiated, and at the point where I was going out for a family event. I don't even remember what the family event was, but they were going to a steakhouse, and I was incensed. I said, they know I'm vegetarian. Why are they taking me to a steakhouse? And he listened to me and commiserated with me, and then said, if this is your parents, eat whatever you must eat and then purge after. Go and do your full cleansing afterwards. And I was so stunned by him not mirroring my righteous indignation, but he was reminding to me that my relationship with my parents was of critical importance, and that is so important. It's one of those memories that I had. I don't think I've ever shared that memory before, but because it was a private memory. It was just he and I. He was sitting there carving in wax, and I was sitting there talking to him, as what happened when he was in his studio that I believe was on the second floor at one point. It was just a different experience, and he guided me through all of the challenges I've had, from being a young man to now being a middle-aged man. He guided me through all of those things, and not being able to speak to him clearly in the last few months was very, very hard on me. This has been a challenging time, but I do know that Baaba is unencumbered from the challenges of attempting to maintain this physical frame. And so I will continue to speak to him, and I know that he will answer. Anken Ma'at to Edsel Peterson, Anken Ma'at from Rochester, New York. Wonderful. Anken Ma'at. Anken Ma'at to Jehudi Mes Ma'at Hotep. I'm really struggling today. to Anken Ma'at, one of our full members, coming to us from Cornwall, Ontario. Anken Ma'at to you. Anken Ma'at to Joanne Jahi Adisa, coming to us from Columbus, GA. Anken Ma'at to Stuart Jaman Hastings, coming to us from East London. Wonderful, magnificent. I think you are the furthest away so far. Ankenmat, I will have love for all the Shriners. You will keep the legacy alive. We will definitely try. We will work diligently to keep the legacy alive. And I will make sure that that it is that the work of Baba Heru will continue to be held aloft. Absolutely. Sinet Shankar, do you want me to read what you wrote, or do you want us? Would you like to read it? You should come in and read it, Sinet Shankar, if you'd like. If not, it's okay. I did get it from you. Dwa dwa dwa. I can read it for you as well. Rashad Muhammad, text me and let me know what you'd like me to do. You might have done that already. If I could please share it. I definitely am comfortable reading it. But it seems so much, it seems extensive and well written, and I would love to hear you actually read it in your own voice, if possible. Ankan Ma'at to Rashad Muhammad. Ankan Ma'at to Willinet Luis Efua Ma'ati Robinson Obijewa Osset. Ankan Ma'at to you. Ankan Ma'at, and you're moving from Los Angeles by winter. Do you mean moving permanently, or you're going between the places that you normally live? Ankan Ma'at to Kendra Dion. Ankan Ma'at from Phoenix, Arizona. Wonderful. Oh, you're right. Okay, you can't get on right now. Okay, so I will try to read that. Honesty Matavus here in Yonkers. I know you. Patiently waiting to join the shrine. I know you. Matavus is a very clear name. Anken Ma'at. Hopefully we will see each other as well soon. Anken Ma'at to Per Ankh. Pata Anu is saying shout out from Philly City. Where is that exactly, Pata Anu? Anken Ma'at to Per Ankh, who was in Atlanta, and yes, he received the word. Yes, I know. And you've been part of the shrine, a full member. Yeah, I'm not. I know I recognize the name. I'm trying to remember. Never a full member. Oh, I see what you're saying. Never a full member. So I recognize the name because you're always here. But your name here is different. Drip Fire is not usually part of your name. So that is why I recognize your name, but it looks different to me today. Anken Ma'at from Taseti. Anken Ma'at to Taseti, coming to us from Denver. Anken Ma'at to Abut Sashat, who is coming to us from Connecticut, saying it's good to see the family here, to support each other and honor our dear shrine elder who is on his journey on the boat of Ra. Peace and blessings, Hotep, Hotep. Yes, well said. Absolutely well said. Ankin Ma'at to Jaman, and yes, I will read it, Sanet Shinka. I will. Ankin Ma'at to Kazi Shep. Ankin Ma'at to you, coming to us from Philly, from the city of brotherly love. How are you? It is wonderful to see you there. I have not seen you with my own eyes recently, and I used to regularly see you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon, a full member of the shrine. Ankin Ma'at to DZ Ankh, Ankin Ma'at to John Tay, him been here a long time. Yes, yes, yes. Ankin Ma'at to Juti Imin Jed Kara, who is one of our full members, that young elder, as I call him, very, very active member of the shrine. Ankin Ma'at to Henry Christian, coming to us from Massachusetts, and Son of Light coming to us from Winston-Salem, and Ron Green coming to us from Alton, Illinois, and Janelle Marie, Ankin Ma'at, and yes, Deloise, Osset Sekmet, Ankh Metu M Ma'at. Osset Sekmes, Ankh Metu M Ma'at. I wanted to make sure that I got your name correctly. I was going to just say Sanet Osset Sekmet. But as it is relatively new, we should all, as a community, see your full name before we start abbreviating it, right? Right. That's definitely how I feel about that. Um, mm. Sanette Willinette said she crossed paths with Baba Heru in 1977 in Harlem. Was a young mom then. He performed several times at the Adam Clayton Powell State Office building in the back quad. Yes, that is a deep cut. He has been really, truly working in the tradition since the 1960s, and it is through his commitment to the legacy, his commitment to holding aloft his Ankh, that the rest of us have now been comfortable in being part of the tradition. I knew that I was going to be part of the Kemetic tradition before I ever met Baba Heru. I knew that it was speaking to me, but it is Baba Heru that gave me the form and order and assisted me by walking in front and beside, in front and beside. And he was truly, truly, I know that this term may be overused, truly my spiritual father. And and in many instances, he was truly like family to me. And so we were close for so many decades, and not being able to actually hear his voice from his physical mouth is going to be one of those things that I must continue to work on. Ankan Ma'at to Imorej Hotep Ra from his home, the Virgin Islands. You're talking about Baba Heru, I think you are. Ankin Ma'at to you. Oh, and Ankin Ma'at to that dear priestess, Rowena Huck, sending me a hug. Dwa, dwa, dwa. I receive it. I need it today. I need it today. I know that you need it just as much as I, as one of the members of the priesthood who came through, one of the Ankh carriers that came through Baba Heru. And I know that it must be tough for you as well, knowing that he has made his transition. Tough for you, tough for your husband, who I know is a sacred king man. I know your children had a close relationship with him. It is, he was magnificent. He really was one of the giants. There will be people who remember people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and James Baldwin, but in actuality, Baba Heru was amongst them. He was that much of a giant, and we have to make sure that more are aware of his work. Ankan Ma'at to Asar Neferatum. Ankan Ma'at came from Julian and left with my entire life change. He had the ability to do that. Yes, he really, really did. He really, really did. Ankin Ma'at to Corey Randall. Ankin Ma'at to you. It is good to see you, dear dear Sen, one of our full members. Haven't seen you with my own eyes in a moment, but it's so wonderful that that you are here. Ankin Ma'at to Tashi Renee, another full member of the shrine. Ankin Ma'at to you, Sanet Tashi. Many of us would not know or be who we are as a result. Yes, he certainly was able to do that. Ankin Ma'at to Peya Israel, coming to us from Portland, Oregon. Ankin Ma'at to you. Sen Tehuti Forever says, our spirituality instructs us how to interact with each other. Just want to say dua to, oh, yes, yes, yes. I wouldn't have put something saying dua to me on the screen, but definitely we attempted to give him his flowers several times during, we did give him his flowers several times during the later part of his life. We had two major real wonderful, wonderful celebrations for the life and legacy of Baba Heru. When we put together the first one that was held at the Black Lady Theater in Brooklyn, I remember people thought, did Baba pass away? And I was like, no, please don't say that. Please. We are simply recognizing, I believe it was his decades in the tradition. If it started in the 1960s, we did this as a celebration of his life in the tradition. And so that was important. And then we also had another celebration for him for his birthday as well, his time coming to Earth. That one was held at the National Black Theater. And both of those were amazing, amazing affairs with many people attending and bringing and giving him myrrh. And I just have to say that I'm pleased that we were able to do that. And we did do that. Dua for reminding me. I've thought about it, Sen Tehuti Forever, but maybe I hadn't thought about it as much in those terms because with his absence, it is palpable. And I must say to you that we are going, as a shrine, going to have to put together a physical, an in-person memorial with his family. I've been in conversation with his youngest son, L. Ayton. We talked for over an hour on Friday. He was dealing with the loss of his father. It was very hard. It was hard for him. It was hard. It's for me. It's harder for him because it was his physical father. He was literally raised by him. And I'm going to say that he has done an amazing job taking over the studio of Ptah. He has really, truly done amazing work. So if you are able to simply reach out to him, purchase something, do those things so we can support the studio of Ptah so that it may continue beyond the physical life of our dear ancestor, elder ancestor, Baba Heru. Ankin Ma'at to Hudi Ma'at Rabbi Sirius. I think I said Ma'at, Ankin Ma'at to you before. Ankin Ma'at to Tianis Tillman. Dua for your words. Ankin Ma'at to James Davis. Ankin Ma'at to Heru Asar Ankh Amun Ra from Dallas, Texas, who is always here with us. Ankin Ma'at. Ankin Ma'at to DZ Ankh, always here, always here. Have your space. We got you. You don't have to be all right. Yeah, I don't feel in good sorts. You know, the thing is, immediately after hearing about his passing, I think I was more stunned than anything. I felt more capable then than I do today, which is maybe it's setting in that he won't be here to guide me through my challenges. And perhaps more than anyone else who was not a physical relative. I've always had a close relationship with my parents. My father, as you know, made his transition a little over 5 years ago, and that was very difficult for me. And I have a close relationship with my mother, who is still with us in physical form at 83 years old, still a Spitfire, still driving me crazy as she tells me, because she cares about her son. She cares about her son, and she wants to guide me the right way. Even though I'm a man of 50, of over 50 years old. She's still guiding me. But I will say to you that there are few other people who have had as much impact um, in my life as Baba Heru. There, I can. He's number one. He's the one that helps me stand upright. That's what he did. He helped me be the best that I could possibly muster at any given time. And so that was his role. There were others who were important to me, who assisted me in scholarship, assisted me in other walks of my life, but Baba Heru was the one that undergirded most of that, because if you are not able to stand upright, all of the other things are unable to occur. Ankh to send Rich Duglin coming to us, a full member from Queens. Ankh to Kimberly Blue, another full member coming to us here. Lucille Scott, Ankh to you. Is the StreamYard link in the chat? I'm going to put in the chat in just a moment. I'm yapping too much. Let me get through the greetings. In fact, I'll put it in the chat now, and then I'll bring people in just a moment. Anken Ma'at to Robert Bunag, who is always here with us, Anken Ma'at, and also said we don't have freedom of speech anymore. Yes, there are attacks on particularly people of African descent, and so that's a real issue. Sinette Willen is moving permanently. Wow, wow. I'm hoping that moves smoothly, that it goes smoothly. Anken Ma'at to Jason Holmes. Send Jason Holmes, one of our full and active members. Tuti Ma'at Ra Series B says, best dressed Kemetic brother that there ever was, Baba Heru. He really, really was. I don't know how else to describe that. He really, really was. Anken Ma'at to Kenneth Soup 63. And Anken Ma'at to Sidnick Productions. That's Sen M, who is one of our full members, Anken Ma'at. Anken Ma'at to the Schaefers are here. Anken Ma'at to you, that wonderful couple that assisted, that the full members of the Shrine that worked with the Shrine on our album, that did all of the mastering and the singing and just an amazingly talented couple. Anken Ma'at, that you are here, and I hope that you are in good stead as you are doing what you do on the continent. They have returned to the continent of Africa, which is what so many of us wish that we would be able to do. Anken Ma'at to farewell to the flesh. Can you tell me the name of the Egyptian god of trade? That's an interesting question, and I'm not even sure if I'm in the right mind. There could be several. I mean, in many ways, you would even say that Jehuti is one of the Neteru of trade, simply because he deals with right and exact measure, and so that's how I would see that. But you could even see Ma'at as trade is supposed to be balanced in many ways, right? And so you can see Ma'at as well. Depends on how you're going to look at that, and there may have been different answers based on the region as well. Anken Ma'at to Adrian Marie Ma'at. Anken Ma'at, one of our full members. Anken Ma'at to farewell. I see a farewell to the flesh. I think that might be. Oh, I see. Anken Ma'at to Ronald Garrison. Kwame Ron is there. Anken Ma'at to you. One of the chiefs in Ghana, West Africa, along with myself. Anken Ma'at to you. Anken Ma'at to Sinet Yeshiria, one of our full members as well. And to Anthony Jones and Robert James and Michael Herbert's here, Sen M several times. Anken Ma'at to James Limbo, one of our full members. Anken Ma'at to another one of our priests, Hemnetter Jamar. Anken Ma'at to you. Anken Ma'at to Jose Santana. Are you the Jose Santana that is a full member that we have not seen recently? If that is you, Anken Ma'at to you. I am so pleased and honored that you're here. I've thought about you over the years. Definitely one of the members of the Mesu Heru. Ankin Ma'at to T the goddess, Ankin Ma'at. Ankin Ma'at to, I think there's still some new names. Anjai Bryant is here, who is always here for everything that we are doing. Ankin Ma'at to Smalls. Does anyone have the contact or know how his mate is doing? I put a call into her and I have not heard back yet. I'm assuming that she is dealing with it as much as any of us are. Ankin Ma'at to Esquire Ostro Sauce and so many, and a shirt Monique and John Jones and Amoye Neblet, who is one of our full members. Ankin Ma'at to you. It's so wonderful to see that you're here. Ankin Ma'at to John Jones, who made this dude a Kemetic priest. I have no idea what you're referring to. You might be coming in to troll. And all I have to say to you, if that's what you're saying, oh, is it Halloween today? Why does he have a costume on? You know, all I can say to you is your ancestors are embarrassed by your behavior. I don't need to argue with you. Your ancestors are embarrassed by your behavior. You should go to a quiet place and beg their forgiveness. Ankin Ma'at to Jahim Ra and Ankin Ma'at, do you have a degree in ancient Kemet? What does that even mean? I wish that that would make some sense. I'm going to just put you in timeout. Okay. Ankin Ma'at to Manifesto and to Gabriel Hall and to Navar Tishwaga. That's a name that I'm not familiar with. Ankin Ma'at to you. Ankin Ma'at to Roseanne Scott and to Christopher Michigan and Volta. And I believe I've gone through most of the names. Asarim Ka, Ankin Ma'at to you, that dear priest who is doing such good work. And I'm looking forward to actually spending some physical space with that dear brother who we spent a lot of space together on the internet, and I am always empowered by his commitment to the tradition as well. Let me go ahead and allow some of you to come on. I see Mur Aset, one of our full members, Ankin Ma'at. I see Senatan Aten Ra, full member, Jehuti Mes Ma'at, Ankin Ma'at. New York 100, I'm not sure who you are. You may be one of our full members. Could you put on your camera so we know who you are? We just want to make sure that we're bringing people on who are going to do right by the gathering. Ankin Ma'at to you all. It is magnificent to see you all. It's wonderful to be with the family at a time when we are experiencing, and this is the thing that I'm wrapping my head around. We are both dealing with a loss and with something magnificent that we've gained. I have not been able to wrap my head around Baaba Heru as an ancestor yet. It was so magnificent and so important and so wise and so had more energy than people that were 30 or 40 years younger than him. So I truly believe that as an ancestor, he is going to be as glorious and as active as any ancestor possibly could be. And so I want to say to you that when I wrap my head around that, I will probably feel a lot better, right? We've lost something and gained something. And so I want to say dua to you all coming on for you to just come and be together with the community at this time is I'm filled up by seeing your faces today, just as I am struggling to speak today. Not something that happens very often, but I'm certainly struggling to speak. It's good to see you all here. Is there anything that all of you would like to say? And then also remember, we need to do the opening of the way because our elder deemed that is how we should begin anything of importance. And so maybe I should just cede some ground and let you say something for a moment, and then we'll move from there. Um, uh, Sanette Murasset, did you want to say something? I believe you came on first. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. Dua, everyone, family. It's good to be gathered together. It's a lot that's happened over the last few years since I know I initiated, and I'm so grateful to Baba Heru and thus to you as well, because um, when you're searching and you know that the answers are there, and you're relentless in your search, and then you finally come across all the solutions, all the answers that your heart, has shared with you since you were a child, to know that what you're experiencing, there's more to that. And Baba Haru, knowing that he was very relentless in his mission and his purpose. And one of the things that he and I had in alignment was our background in law enforcement, but more so reform and redemption of our people
Mm-hmm.
that have been oppressed by the system for so long. And I count it an honor and a privilege that even to this day, his teachings have helped me in my work
Mm,
in bringing healing to our community.
mm,
And that came vicariously through you and also Sister Anika as well.
mm-hmm.
And so I am just so grateful to Baba for being courageous,
Mm,
for being bold in a time when it wasn't fashionable, and for carrying it on until he couldn't physically have the strength to do it anymore. Um, because when we talk about redeeming our people and bringing them to a place of awareness and healing, there are not as many that have stood in the gap, but with those that have stood in the gap, including us now, we are really and truly making an impact on a whole nother level. Um, and again, I'm just grateful even now to be able to take people that have been impacted by the system back to the motherland as a result of these seeds that he's planted in folks like myself. And so I'm grateful to Baba, eternally grateful to him now as our ancestor, and to you and to the rest of the shrine. And so just really looking forward to continuing to grow and build,
mm-hmm.
as negative karmic wounds, if you will, are healed, and we continue to grow and elevate as I know he wants us to. So, Dua.
Mm-hmm. Ankin Ma'at. Oh, truly, truly. And Dua for your words. I'm truly feeling what you've said, and I know that there are even some people that would say to me sometimes, he was a police officer. That means that he was an enemy to his people, and I would always say to them, because the NYPD and other law enforcement folks have done so many negative things to our people. I always had to say to them, you have to understand just how much intestinal fortitude it takes for someone who is committed to our people to go up into the belly of those institutions and to fight with them for us. And we know that that is precisely what he did and was attacked for it, and the sorts of things that happened to him, for him to be able to do that. He drew other people who were in law enforcement that were saying, that's me too. I'm in here and I'm trying to fight for our people. It is hard. I mean, imagine what that's like. And so there were people that came to the tradition who are working. There are many. There are quite a few who were working. I mean, just think about the fact that one of our priests was a very high ranking. I'm talking about Hemneta Waziri, a very high ranking police officer. I met him. I bumped into him outside of a precinct and looked at him with his locks under his hat and said, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
That's how I first met him.
Wow.
So it was those sorts of people that were saying, I'm going to fight in my community. I'm going to make sure that anyone that I'm around is going to treat our people properly, even if it puts me at risk. Those are so many of the people that came to the shrine. I'm looking at another member of law enforcement on the screen, Jehuti Mesma'at Hotep, in another country.
Yeah.
So we have to recognize that there are those people who are willing to give their lives for our people inside the belly of the beast, and salute them not just for the way they walk their lives when they're not in uniform, when they're not actually on duty, but the way they walk their lives also when they are on duty, because that's not an easy thing to do. So and that's part of what Baaba's journey was. And so whenever someone would say that to me, I'd say, talk to him about it. Instead of just saying, who are you? Blah, blah, and arguing with them, which is not the right energy. I would say, talk to him about it. I think you should ask him about what that was. And several of them would come back to me and say, I did not know that there were so many people that were fighting to change this system. I said, of course there are. Not enough. But clearly, that was one of the things he did, and he retired. So obviously, you know, that with everything they did to him, he was able to maintain there until he was able to retire. And I remember walking with him once in Brooklyn and seeing the police give us those looks. You know the looks that I'm talking about. Some white folks giving us looks that that the Tom who give our people, right? The kind of angry looks, the looks like they see us as their enemy. And he said, "What house are you out of?" And once he said that, they said, "You mean the precinct?" He said, "Yes." And when they answered, he said, "Oh, I retired from there." And you should see how they looked. They were like, "What?" It was just an amazing experience to walk down the block with him, if you could keep up. For those of you who have ever taken a walk with Baaba Heru, I was much younger than him, 30 years younger than him, and struggled to keep up with him. And so it was just an amazing experience to be there with him. Well, I'm going to cede again to those of you who would like to say something. I think that I'd be remiss if I did not at least come to, we have a member of the Wenwet here. We have a Butsa shot. Can I come there and then to Senatan and then send Judimes? And then I promise we will do the opening of the way. And I also have to say, New York 100, send me a message so I know who you are. I know you have your face covered, and that there may be a good reason for that. But unless I know who you are, I can't bring you on to the into our gathering. Okay. Abu Tashat, did you want to say something?
Akima that yes, I would like to say something, but I know that Sanatan and Jutimas were here before me, so
No.
I'll speak after them.
No.
Okay.
No.
She's
No.
feeding.
She's got to speak first.
They're not letting the priestess do that.
Yeah,
Well,
Abu
thank you.
Tashat, please.
I appreciate that. I'm truly at a loss for words. And this is what I didn't want to do. Sorry. So much to what Talin was saying, when you search for the truth. And okay, when you search for the truth, because you've been given the truth as a child, as I had been, my parents they gave me all the black stuff they had to give me. I got 5 black things, I'm gonna give it to my child. I have 20, I have 2, whatever. They gave it to me. Santa Claus ain't real. Jesus was black. And what was the other one? Oh, and Africans were the first people to walk on the planet. So that's what I've always known. Always known that. I feel like I was born knowing that because my parents instilled that in me so early on. My mother wore her fro, dashikis. She wore fros to work in the 80s. And my mom is like Claire Huxtable and introverted, and she reads and writes. She still writes stories at 74. So I have a very dignified intelligent woman as a mother. I'm a little bit wilder than her. I might cuss a little more than her. I might have a drink here and there. I'm a little different than my mom, but I know that what's virtuous and right came from her. And so giving me that African centeredness was so incredibly organic. When I see these pictures of white Jesus as a little girl, I knew that was a lie. So you kind of ingest knowing that what you've been given is a lie. Make a long story short, I went to Spelman in the early 90s, where you had like African consciousness was popping, hip hop was embedded with knowledge. And I wanted to find Black God, which is what I called it at the time. And it was driving me crazy because I couldn't find it. And there were times when I look back and I was looking right at it, just didn't know. Some of you have heard me tell this story before. When I met Himneter Inter Anika, she had on her joyari. And I didn't know what it was, but I knew that was it. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that was it. And to find the answer that I had been seeking for so long, first of all, confirmed I wasn't going crazy. Confirmed that, yes, there is quote unquote Black God. I knew there had to be a conversation between God and Africans because I knew as a child that we were the first people on the planet. So what was that conversation when it was just us? And so I met Anika, the Joyari, then I met Jabari, and went to their home and just learned so much. And they kept talking about Baaba Heru, Baaba Heru, Baaba Heru. I'm like, cool, I gotta meet this man. So Baaba came to the house with Yasir. Was that the first time I met Baaba? I think that's when it was.
It might be. It might be.
I was so excited. I felt like I was about to meet Santa Claus. But I knew Baaba was real and Santa was fake. But the way you feel the night before Christmas when you believe that nonsense, that feeling of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that's how I felt. And meeting him was just I can't even put it into words. And the gratitude and appreciation for taking the hit for us. If you've heard Jabari explain how Baaba came into this information and brought it to the West, it was not easy. His family thought he was going crazy. Jabari, you should have a night and you just talk about your Baaba stories and bring that one up because I think it's important. It's a foundation to not just the Shrine of Ma'at, but Temple of Anu, any Kemetic space that got something from Baaba. We should all know this one story. And when you hear it and you know that it wasn't easy emotionally, mentally, etc., and then you just happen to meet someone and here's the answer. Well, that came from something. That came from a lot of self-reliance and self-strength for him to be able to bring that to us. So I'm so grateful that Baaba did what he did, not just for us here, but for those people not yet born, those people whose parents ain't born yet. That's for them too.
Dua.
And it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility, especially those of us who are in the Winwet, those of us who are, well, Jabari, a high priest, and the high priests and priestesses, people who are currently priests, and I'm looking at some future priests. Well, I'm currently a priestess, and future priests to maintain this legacy and to make sure we know it like that. So the second someone says something that's inaccurate or degrades it or demeans it or acts a fool about it, we gotta get them together immediately. That's our responsibility. Because when people leave, when people pass and transition, the naysayers, the haters, the people who don't like Black unity, the people who are afraid of a conscious Black man and a conscious Black woman knowing where we are so we can go make some conscious Black babies, now is their time. Here they come. They're coming for us. We have to maintain the truth and access. And how do we have that? It's in here so we can use it out of here if we need to. And we hold on to that. I'm a little militant, a little revolutionary. I know Jabari probably think, oh, he go and boost a shot. She finna go off. No, I pulled myself back in. I just
we always need that energy. We always need that energy. We always need it.
Right. Now.
Dua.
One last thing. Baaba gave us a method and a way to connect, to inter,
Mm-hmm.
to remind us who we are every day,
Yeah.
to give us our self-correction method, if you will, to keep peace in our hearts and our minds, in our bodies and our souls.
Mm-hmm.
Yasir gave us a way to keep that in our bodies physically and literally. Okay, so we have a method to mourn the physical loss of Baba Heru and also to continue to stay at peace, continue to fight the foolishness, and to continue to be at peace and at warmth and love in our heart for ourselves and everyone else. Thank you so much for letting me cut the line and for saying my words for Baba. I have so much more. Oh my goodness, this is so much easier talking with the family because I've been crying and being around family even through StreamYard is so comforting. So dua for that. Thank you so much.
Dua, 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 dua. And it's always good to see you. Haven't seen your face in a while. It's good to see you.
Yes. Yes.
We've chatted, but I haven't seen you, is what I'm saying. Just
Right. We've
yeah,
definitely
seen her.
had.
I have seen her. I just haven't seen her face. Sen Atan, please. Is there something you'd like to say, Sen Atan?
Uncle Mod and him
Ankama.
that Jackie, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
First, I just want to say I pray that the ancestors receive Baba Heru and Mer. I want to send divine Seneb to our entire community because although I didn't have a personal relationship with Baba Heru, as a student of this tradition, I've learned from him for so many years, and from afar, I've been able to grow and to mature through his teachings without even having that relationship. And even though I didn't have a personal relationship with him, I had some significant interactions with him that involved my initiation into the Shrine of Mind, right? Again, as a student from afar and learning this tradition, I think it's important for us to remember and to continue the traditions that Baba Heru has given us, right? He's an ancestor now, and we have literally become his legacy. It's going to
Mm,
be important for us to continue those traditions that he gave us so that he will live forever, so that we will continue to call his name.
mm,
Um, it's a very uh the loss of Baba Heru, we won't be able to measure that. But what we can measure is again the impact that he made on us. And so as followers of the tradition of my and students of and members of the Shrine of Mind, again, it's going to be important for us to move forward and to continue to keep those traditions going. As we talk about Baba Heru, as we have these sessions, we should be burning incense, burning candles, doing those things, continuing to do the things that he taught us that help us to connect to the inter. And again, just like him, Netter and Tepi said, it's really kind of hard to fathom him as an ancestor right now. But just think about the assistance that we have now of this great ancestor who's changed form and can help us to continue in our spiritual journey. So again, I just want to send divine Seneb to our entire community and want to make sure that we understand the importance of continuing these traditions, not only in his honor, but in the honor of all those that came before him as well.
dua, 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 dua. By the way, I thought that you had more. I wish that I want you to know that what I'm saying is not something I've shared with you, but he asked me about you.
Wow.
He asked me about you when he was a regular, when he used to come on Kemetic Ascension regularly. He said, "Who is this brother Sanatan?" Yes, he's the wise brother. He asked me about you, so I thought that you all had more interaction. But you should know that Baaba, at sometimes he would come into Kemetic Ascension and we would greet him. At other times he would come in and not say anything because he was looking at his kids, right? So, so sometimes that would happen sometimes. And Anika and I had a sort of a way to signal each other that to let us know that Baaba had come into the room. But we would only know if he actually said something. Very often he would just listen, right? And I know that because later he would either salute what had happened or said, "You need to tweak this." So those are all things that used to happen as well. And he asked about so many of the folks who came through the shrine, particularly those people who were initiated, because he recognized that, as he would say, and he said this to me for such a long time that in some ways I became more inured to it. He would say that he was hearing the call of the belly of his mother Newt. That's what he would say. The first time he said it, I shed a tear. And he said, "What are you doing? What?" That's got to be 20 years ago, right? That he said that to me, and it hurt me that he was saying that he knew that he was going to make his transition. But he said it regularly since then. So after that, I would say, "Baaba, you may outlive us all." And I would say all those sorts of things. And he would say, "No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to move on. And the rest of you have to make sure that you're continuing to give myrrh to our people so they understand their traditions," right? He would constantly say that. But in doing that, he would look sometimes from the sidelines to let us know that he was pleased with what we were doing, and if there was something that he didn't like, he would tell us that too regularly. I had all sorts of difficult conversations with Baaba, and sometimes I would say to Anika, "How come you ain't say this is what we did?" And because he would say to her, "Tell Jabari to call me about this," and I'd say, "Well, how come you didn't defend what happened?" She said, "That's on you." You know, right? So it would mean that I would have to have a difficult conversation with Baaba, and that happened on occasion. Because he thought that this was so important. So I know very well that as Baaba, this new glorious ancestor, is in his place, when he takes his seat, some of the conversations I'm going to have with him are going to be miraculous and wonderful. Some of them will be him trying to correct me, because as our shrine elder, that is what he did at times. And I didn't always like those conversations. Can I say to you, I truly am looking forward to them now. I'm looking forward to them now. I want him to tell me that maybe you should go in this direction. I think that you might be making a misstep. I want those conversations now that he's an ancestor. I didn't always like them when he was in physical form. Oh, to hear his voice, to hear him sing, to hear him do a chant that I don't know. "Come chant this with me." And he'd chant. I'd be like, "Mom, I don't know that." He had been doing this for so long. And then he would try to teach. He was teaching until the last moment, things that he had done, things that he had learned, people that he had experienced, challenges in his own life. He would talk to me about his own challenges, things that he thought he could have done better, because he was that kind of being. Well, first, I want to go to Senjehutimes if I can. I'm going to beg the indulgence of another member of our Wenwet who has entered. You can see that Hemneta Jamar is driving there, but he's entered as well. I'm going to beg his indulgence and ask, because Senjehutimes has been waiting for so long, if he can speak. And then I promise we will hear from the member of the Wenwet, and then we'll do the opening of the way. We still haven't done the opening of the way yet, and we must. So please, Senjehutimes.
Yeah, Hemnetter and Tepi, thank you. Dua, I have to yield to Abu Jamar for sure.
Are you Abu Jamar?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Uncle Mayat, I hear you.
Uncle Ma'at. Would you like to say something?
Absolutely. I just pulled over real quick. I had this conversation with Sai yesterday and it didn't go well, so I'm gonna pull over this time. Because I didn't. Man, you know, coming into the Kemetic legacy, for myself, I would have to say when it came to Baaba, you know, and many people have probably experienced this too as well. You know, you lose friends, family members, associates, and you disconnect from frequencies that no longer serve you, you know, coming into this walk. And Baaba played an immediate role of a father, of one who was a elderly consultant. You know, there would be no me without him in this legacy. And for many of us, we probably can say the same thing. When I met Baaba, I felt immediately empowered to be able to say what I wanted in reference to this legacy and challenge what the status quo was, and felt like I had, like, you know, you have like a big brother or somebody who will hold you down, you know, because you face a lot of criticism in this walk of life. And I felt like he was the one, like, immediately that just embraced me. And it was so quickly and so real that it was almost unreal. It was just a surreal experience. Like, this man who has done so much for the legacy doesn't have to do this for me, but he's doing this, and I felt like I just owed him so much. You guys have no idea how many times I sat down and these songs that I wrote was just to make him proud. The lyrics that I was saying just to get his approval on it. How many times that when I performed, I just, you know, I just remembered him saying, you know, that's a good one. And we would go over them before I even presented them to the world. And, you know, I'm not sad because of him passing, but I'm sad because I'm just going to miss him. Like, I'm going to miss him, his words, his guidance, and the strength that he provided for me in that time. It was such a crucial time. And when you're walking into this walk, those beginning stages when you're just a baby in this are so delicate. And he handled me so well. He handled me so well. Better than a parent, a biological parent, better than a biological brother, a biological sister. His spirit was so pure and genuine, and he never made me feel judged. He never made me feel like, you know, what I was doing was unjustified. He just helped me to walk in it as high of a level as I possibly could, the highest level I could possibly do it. He showed me how to do it, and he didn't tell me, he showed me. And there's a difference when somebody is walking in it and they're showing you how to walk in it versus them just telling you what to do. He was an awesome teacher, one who knew how to speak to you in ways that didn't just require words. And then he also did it with style and swag, which was important to me because I knew the younger generation wanted to see it done, and they wanted to see it done cool. He made it cool, you know? And that's what I'm going to miss the most. But at the same time, it's like the craziest combination of sadness and joy because I know he's still here. You know, and his work was actually completed. You know how somebody gets snatched before their time? No, we gave his flowers while he was here, and his work will last for as long as I'm going to be here, longer than I'm going to ever be here. And it was here before I got here, you know? So it's just like, I'm just honored. I feel so privileged to have known him, not just in the walk, but on a personal level, as a musician and as a man, as a human being. He was a beautiful human being. And I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful for what he taught you, Jabari, what he taught Anika, what he gave to the shrine, the studio of Patah. This man adorned me with jewels, and I didn't even ask for it. He said, "You going on tour?" I said, "I'm going on tour." He said, "Beloved, I can't let you go naked." He said, "Come to the shop." And he just gave me all these jewels. And I was able to walk into these spots, yo, because, you know, people be having, you know, all the diamonds and all that. And they be, you know what I mean? and I wanted something to reflect my walk of life. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to look like them. And he gave me character. He gave me like something that was different from everybody else. He made me step like, now I can take the t-shirt off. I could throw on this dashiki today. You know what I'm saying? It go well with this. Like it worked with the mud cloth. Like I felt like the culture was just oozing out of me. You know what I'm saying? But that was his covering, his cloak over me. I felt confident, yo. And that's what I appreciate from him. There would be no me. I would have no career if it wasn't for Baaba Heru doing what I'm doing. I feel so empowered, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it, man. I'm just grateful to have known him and have sat at his feet, and that's all I can really say, man. There's so much to say. I can go on and on for hours.
Yes, yes,
Hours.
yes, yes. Listen, I want to say to him, Netta Jamar, he was this giant, but when you interacted with him, he was really interacting with you, interested in you, wanted to know what your journey was, what your interests were. He talked to me about you and about what you were doing. He was genuinely interested in people, generally interested in the resurrection of African people, and saw you and your music as one of those tools. He would have done anything to support what you were trying to do. And so this is the way that Baaba walked. He has been a giant in the tradition for decades, but wanted to just have a small private conversation with you. And wherever you were, he enjoyed seeing you where you were. Whenever you were celebrated, he enjoyed seeing you celebrated. He didn't have to make it about him. There's so many people who pretend to be leaders, who pretend to be spiritual guides that make everything about them. That wasn't him. That was not him. And so there were so many things that he did that will help us remember that this is the way that we are truly going to do the work that our elder, now ancestor, expected us to do. And as you know, listen, today we have more trolls than ever, more people in our chat trolling. And I want to just say this. I was ignoring them and just banning, but I want to say this for all to hear. Be prepared. Because as we continue and the shrine grows and ascends, there will be more. Because there are people who are counting on you to fail. They believe that their success is your failure, that taking food out of your children's mouths is putting food into their children's mouths. They are small. There are going to be more of them. So we should actually see their presence as a sign of our success. Because if we weren't doing anything, they wouldn't even want to be here.
Right.
Jabari, make me a moderator. I'll kick them all out.
Let's see if I can from here. Listen, I'm doing the best I can from here. I'm going to continue to do that in the back while we move to send Jehuti Mess. Please send Jehuti Mess. And let me say dua for continuing to be patient as well. Please go ahead. Please.
Of course. Anke Ma'at, everyone. Much much love. I think there's a Kemetic saying, a Kemetic proverb, which is the greatest form of power is influence. The greatest form of power is influence. And so Baaba Heru, Ankh-Ra Samaj Se Ptah, in what he's created and what he's done in creating the Shrine of Ptah, raising within its midst, Hemnetter and Tepi, Jabari Osaze and Dr. Anika Osaze Daniels, right? Or Heru Jedin Ma'at Aten Ra and Inferka Ma'at, right? Who've gone forward in their own right and created their own shrine, the Shrine of Ma'at, of which we're tuning in right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm privileged to do so. And through that, now I can be a member here, even though I'm living in Canada, even though I'm living in a small town in Canada right now, right? Baaba Heru, also, as you guys had mentioned, he had served as a police officer in a very difficult organization, the New York Police Department, right? And I've been a police officer for 4 years in January. in the military for 3 years before that, as an Army officer. And I know the challenges. I could understand some of the challenges he may have been in, especially in New York, because that's a whole nother beast right there. And so I'm grateful to be able. This morning. This morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was doing a PowerPoint presentation. I do PowerPoints on every book I read, but I also did a PowerPoint on my approach to Kemetic spirituality, and I
Mm.
presented it to my father on Zoom. He's living 5 hours away right now, and I presented it to him on Zoom for the first time. And my father, quickly, he was important, of course, in my life. Like Abu Sashat, he taught me the best that he knew at the time. He started off as a Nation of Islam. He was actually the fruit of Islam. Serving closely with Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and many others. And but he gave me the knowledge that I needed to start my journey. And as I talked to him about the opening of the way ceremony, and I went through it in depth with him. I'm looking forward to one day when my wife and I, my Black African queen from Haiti, when we have our first child, that my child, next year willing, will be able to do the opening of the way ceremony with us, with me, right? And going forward. So legacy, greatest form of power is influence. So it's nothing but myrrh to Baba Heru, nothing but myrrh to you all. And if there's anything we learned about Kemetic spirituality, is that life is everlasting and that
Mhm.
energy cannot be destroyed, right? Only
Mhm.
transformed. So, keep your heads up. And we're going to continue this legacy in his honor.
Mhm. Dua, 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 dua. That is. Those words are powerful. Can I ask that we do the opening of the way together? Can I ask that we do the opening of the way together?
Of course.
And can I ask if someone would like to lead us in the opening of the way? Who's going to lead today? Come on now. On a day like today, we definitely better have one of you lead. Don't leave it to me.
I'd be honored to do it if I'd be honored.
Wonderful. Dua, dua.
Okay. So for everyone at home right now who's not on camera, I want you to stand up too, if you're able. If you're unable, I understand. You can, do it as you are. But if you're at home, even if you're not on camera, I want you to stand. As Hemnetter and Tepi, Jabari always says, this is not theater. So stand up with us, do this. I know the words. You might not know all the words. Just follow along and you'll learn it. Okay? All right. So we're going to start off with we're going to start off in the position of adoration, which is putting our left foot forward, our right foot back. Left foot will be forward, right foot will be back. Okay. We're going to be putting our hands forward with our left hand slightly forward and our right hand slightly back. I'll turn to the side so you can see the depth. Okay. All right. This is a position of adoration that you'll see on the walls in Kemet and the temples as well. Okay. Um, the left hand is going to be giving divine spiritual energy. The right hand is going to be receiving divine spiritual energy. All right. Again, we're going to be starting off by taking our divine breath. We're going to be chanting the word of everlasting life, which is Ankh. Repeat after me. Oh. Nitrak in bedhead.
On the truck in bedhead.
Nuke in bedhead.
Nuke in bedhead.
Nitrak happy.
On the truck copy.
Nuke happy.
Nuke copy.
Tuau inter.
Wow, enter.
Order turn to your right. Nitrak circuit.
On the truck circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nitrak kepsenuf.
On the truck Kepsenu.
Nuke kepsenuf.
Nuke Kepsenu.
Tuau inter.
Wow, enter.
Nitrak offset.
On the truck us.
Nuke offset.
Nuke gosset.
Nitrak set.
On the truck set.
Nuke set.
Nuke set.
Tuau inter.
To wow, enter.
Anatrak neat.
Anatrak neat.
Nuke neat.
Nuke neat.
Anatrak duamutef.
Anatrak duamutef.
Nuke duamutef.
Nuke duamutef.
Tuau inter.
Tuau inter.
Anatrak newt.
Anatrak newt.
Nuke newt.
Nuke newt.
Anatrak geb.
Anatrak geb.
Nuke geb.
Nuke geb.
Tuau inter.
Tuau inter.
Anatrak shoe.
Anatrak shoe.
Shoe. Shoe. Shoe. Shoe. Nuke shoe.
Nuke shoe.
Anatrak tefnut.
Anatrak tefnut.
Tefnut.
Newt.
Tefnut.
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 Tefnut. Nuke tefnut. Tuau inter.
Tuau inter.
Anatrak paut interu.
Anatrak paut interu.
Nuke paut interu.
Nuke paut interu.
Anatrak and bu interu.
Anatrak and bu interu.
Nuke and bu interu.
Nuke and bu interu.
Tuau inter.
Tuau inter.
Oh. Tuau inter.
Tuau inter.
Dua.
Dua, dua, dua. Dua for leading us once more. Dua, dua, dua. I'm so honored to have you lead us. You know very well, for those of you who have been active here and part of the shrine for a long time, I've told the story of how important it is for you to learn to do the opening of the way. And I learned the opening of the way back in 1997, 1998, and would do it myself every morning, just as our elder instructed us to do. It is the tradition that allows us to truly understand just what we are made of, that we are the stuff of the stars, that we are eternal beings. Death does not destroy us. That is what he taught me.
Mm.
And I did this every morning, at least in the morning. I did not realize that I would be doing it for the first time in public in front of Baaba Heru. Some of you have heard me tell this story. I went with him to the Crown Heights Youth Collective, run by a very, very well-known and powerful elder in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And he was speaking to his group, and Baaba came and sat on he was slightly elevated and had all these books and ankhs and things to do, and he sat down. And I'm looking around the room. They're looking at each other. They're looking at me. I'm standing kind of in the front with him. And I lean over and I go, Baaba, they're waiting for you to begin. He says, yes, beloved. Why haven't you done the opening of the way? And I was like, whoa. I'm the one that's holding up the discussion. That was the first time I did the opening of the way in front of people, with my elder and spiritual father watching, and a whole room of people learning from me at that very moment. I did not know, but he was already training me for the priesthood. I did not know that. I told him that I wanted to become a priest. He said, oh, we'll see, beloved. That was his answer. And then later, after maybe a year, when he hadn't said anything, I said, Baaba, I told you I want to be a priest. When are you going to start training me? He was turned around. I was leaving. I mustered up the will to say this to Baaba. So I was going through the door. Okay, Baaba, bye. I greeted him and I was leaving. I said, Baaba, I told you I want to be a priest. When we can start training? He was working and he turned around. He said, you don't think we've already begun? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Baaba, I'm good. I'm going to leave now. Let me leave before I get myself in trouble. He was always trying to guide. And it wasn't just me, it was so many of you spending his time to guide. Some of the trolls that come in here say, oh, this is a scam. That's the only thing they're able to say, right? Because they know that our people have been scammed. For all of that time I spent with Baaba, I didn't pay him. There was nothing to pay him. When I had a problem and I went to speak to Baaba and he closed his shop to speak to me, he didn't say, okay, it's $150 an hour. He said, sit down. You are my son, and I want to make sure that you are well. Mm. So for all of those people who say those sorts of things, I mean, it's almost laughable, right? It's laughable. Because he spent so much time with so many people, with hundreds of people in a week. So much time. And he still struggled financially. So much of what happened at the studio, the ability for it to be a business that existed was because he was, I'm saying this publicly, and I think I might have said it publicly once before. He funded the studio often with his pension. He said, this is his calling. Think about all of those people who outfit the hip hop community and how wealthy they've become. Baaba Heru made his work by his hand. And our community, this is a critique, a loving critique, did not make him wealthy. He was not wealthy. I truly believe that we have to recognize that we had a literal giant in our midst. And now it's time for us to do what he wanted us to do. And so this is of critical importance. And I want us to recognize that it is the kind of work that will actually be spiritually fulfilling. And that is what we must do. So folks, I want to go ahead and say that I know that you've all been here. You're welcome to stay. I'd love for you to stay. What I want to do, instead of doing regular Kemetic Ascension, I want to show an interview that Anika did with Baaba Heru. Because it tells you a bit about his life. I don't think that there are many people who have seen it. It's from Kemetic Legacy Today. If you've been with us for that long, you have seen it, right? But it's from the first season of Kemetic Legacy Today. I want you to take a look at it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Which year was the first year of Kemetic Legacy? And I asked that because when I first moved to New York City, one of my homies from Morehouse, I'm like, I'm moving to New York and I'm staying at your place. And he really had no choice. So I was flipping through like the local television, and that's when I saw Anika and Jabari. I was like, okay, they Black Center. What they doing? So, it was one of the first shows I saw when I got to New York, and when I met Anika just kind of random. Right. But I knew eventually I was going to meet Jabari because I knew that was Anika, and so I was like, Jabari was like a lightweight celebrity when I met him, but don't tell him. Don't tell him. So it was kind of cool. So I'm excited to see this. I'm sorry, go ahead. I want to see what I
think that this might have been 2009, maybe 2010. It was right before Baaba told us that he was going to elevate us. So when we
That's when I met you guys. That's when I met you guys, because I remember Anika was like, we gotta open a shrine. Like, I'm like, great, let's go.
And you should know, folks, we didn't say, oh, we're gonna open a shrine. Baaba told us we were gonna open a shrine.
Right.
We went there and said the Shrine of Ptah was going through some changes. And I went there in my arrogance and said, Baaba Heru, we're We're going to support you, but you're going to start having classes again and public meetings again and all those things. And he looked at me in my arrogance and just said, no, that's beyond my time now. It's your time now. Have you created your list? He had said to us years earlier we had to have a list of people to come to our defense of the Ankh, our ceremony to receive our Ankhs. Now he was saying, do we have our list? And we were like, yeah, I guess so. He was like, good, let's figure out where it's going to be and exactly when. And then he took a call. Hello, studio. And that was when Anika looked at me and said, this is your fault. Because I had whooped her up. We go down to the shrine to tell Baaba he gonna start doing stuff again. I had whooped her up. So yes, it was my fault. But it was not our intention to run the Shrine of Ma'at. It was my intention to be a priest within the Shrine of Ptah.
Wow.
So that was what occurred. And so this is from around 2009, 2010. I want you to take a look. Anika is a masterful interviewer. She asks really good questions. And so you're going to see her asking some really interesting questions. And I want you to truly benefit from this. Okay? By the way, there's some folks in the chat saying we charge people to attend the Shrine of Ma'at. There are at least 130, 140 people on here. No one's paying anything. No one's paying anything. They're just here to try to disrupt what we do.
And
remember, the more this happens, the more you must be doing something.
That's right.
And they are aware that Baaba Heru made his transition. They're aware of it. So they're here today. Don't even let them disrupt you. Laugh and continue to move. Okay,
Listen,
so I want you to see part. I'm not going to play the whole.
Can I say this one quick thing? I'm actively blocking, and I'm putting a message in the chat for people to just enjoy this because I'm blocking. And haters gonna hate.
Yes, I mean it's just. I mean it's what happens. I mean you have to expect that that's what's going to happen. So let's watch from here.
And the viewers at home for watching. My name is Anika Daniels Osaze, also known as Unfurka Ma'at. And I'm so excited to have my guest here today, a good friend of mine that I've known for many years, Baaba Heru Ankara Samaj Se Ptah, who is the Kemetic priest of the Shrine of Ptah, and also hopefully for the Shrine of Ma'at, which we are beginning through the Center of Ma'at. Welcome to our show today, Baaba Heru.
By the way, did you see his laugh? He was laughing because maybe a week before that, he told us what we were going to be doing. That's why he laughed. Anyway, let's continue.
Wait, can you rewind it a little bit? Because I laughed with my mic on by mistake. Can you rewind it?
Just look at how he responds.
My name is Anika Daniels Osaze, also known as Unfurka Ma'at. And I'm so excited to have my guest here today, a good friend of mine that I've known for many years, Baaba Heru Ankara Samaj Se Ptah, who is the Kemetic priest of the Shrine of Ptah, and also hopefully for the Shrine of Ma'at, which we are beginning through the Center for the Restoration of Ma'at. Welcome to our show today, Baaba Heru.
Hetapu, it's good to be here.
Hetapu. Well, first I'd like to start off with a studio audience to have them know who you are and why you're here today. We've invited you because you are the father of the Kemetic legacy, someone that, yes, it is. Someone that actually helped my mate and I go through our initiation as Kemites and to learn more about the legacy. So I guess my first question to you is, how would you define the Kemetic legacy and how did you become a part of this?
Well, I was, let's take the second part first. I was given this as a mission by my father, who was a Christian minister. And he said that he knew certain things that he couldn't speak about in church because they would throw him out. He was also a follower of Marcus Garvey, and he was very much into knowledge of the Nile Valley. He was, I think, a teenager when they found the resting place of King Tut, and it was broadcast all over the world. But he told me that in his reading of the Bible, that we African people are children of Ham. Later I found out that Ham is actually Chem, and that we seem to be in the wrong house because our uncle is Shem, and we are following Shem's word instead of Ham's word. So he said, he told me that I must study the Nile Valley culture and study the works of Ham so that when I grow up, perhaps our people would be ready for it then. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't quite understand what he was talking about at that time. I was a boy, and he gave me this password, Tut Ankh Amen. And he used to scare me by telling me that, listen, you can't do as you want because I offered you up to God. I was the fourth child of 5. And when I was born, he said he came in and he lifted me up and offered me. And he used to scare the heck out of me by telling me I can't do as I please. So I was very controlled as a young man. And but I grew into legacy, and I took it on in time as my own. Mm-hmm. And I think, doing the research, I find that my father was right, mm-hmm. that we people have been scared, that word less, out of knowledge of who we really are, mm-hmm. and especially of anything that has to do with the place they now miscall Egypt, mm-hmm. that we have been made afraid of it because we've been told lies that there were worshipers of many gods and that there were sun worshipers and animal worshipers and all that nonsense told by a people who envied our culture and who didn't quite understand it. You know, we had a farmer gardener culture, and mm-hmm. The sheep herders, nomadic, couldn't comprehend why we did what we did. So they thought that we were, you know, off the chain, but now they're finding out that we were right and they're wrong. Oh, yes.
So your father seemed to be a Camite at heart then, even though he was a Christian minister.
Yeah, I would say what we would call a crypto Camite. Right.
So how do you define Camite? What is a Camite?
Well, some people just associate it with being from ancient Egypt, but to me, it transcends any geographical location. It's a cosmic designation. The very word chem is the oldest sound for the essence that we call in that non-resonating English word black. And it means that identifying ourselves as we did with the cosmos, mm-hmm. you know, with the star world also, mm-hmm. that it said that we are born out of the body of Nut, and mm-hmm. Nut being the great sky mother, and all of the stars on her body represents us. Mm-hmm. You know, that we came to this place from the realms of Nut. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that sounds like a Star Trekking, and but when you consider the fact that our ancestors had a calendar connected to the star Sirius, which mm-hmm. we call Seperet. The Dogon call it Potolo, or the seed star, and that our divine father, and that star was associated with the divine mother, Ast or Isis, and that our father Asar was identified with a constellation known as Orion. Mm-hmm. Then out of that darkness, you mm-hmm. know, that connects us to our cosmic designation as Kemetic people. And then carrying the solar molecule known as melanin in our skin, mm-hmm. that further marks, you know, us as Kemetic people. Mm-hmm. So when we say we are Kemetic, we're not just identifying with a geographical location, we're identifying with a cosmic reality. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, during your own initiation as a Camite, how did you deal with others when you tried to explain to them who you were and what that meant to you? I mean, people who might not have understood the legacy, how did they treat you? And, you know, what was it like?
Well, they used to call me that Egyptian nut, you know, and names like that. Now, here he comes again, talking about Egypt. And so it was not easy, but at the same time, I was convicted that my father was right. Mm-hmm. In my reading of the Bible, I really couldn't understand why we were not obeying the command of the Bible that honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long on the earth. The cosmology that we had been following in most of the religions came through the house of Shem, who is our uncle. And of course, we love Shem because we rescued him many times. You know, when his God told him that to go to a land overflowing with milk and honey, well, there was no milk and no honey. There was starvation in Canaan. And then they came down, Abraham and Sarah came into the Nile Valley, and they, because of the hospitality of the Africans of the Nile, they went out richer than they came in. Moses, likewise, who they're called the lawgiver. Well, he could give the law because he was educated in the laws of Ma'at, the 42 laws of Ma'at, and he took about 7 of them and added about 3 more to create the Decalogue known as the 10 Commandments. So that silly movie that they have, the 10 Commandments movie that they made in the back lot of Hollywood, is a travesty because it didn't, no hand came out of the sky writing no law on no stone. It was that he was a scribe and he was taught by the ancient Africans of the Nile, and he had to lead a mixed group of people, so he made it easy on them. Instead of the 42 conservative Kemetic laws of morality, he gave them 10, which obviously they don't do too well in maintaining. Yes. So, and then again, Yeshua, who is now miscalled Jesus, he likewise was, his mother brought him there when he was a boy to escape the wrath of Herod, I think. So we see that all these major prophets that we all claim as our own were actually given succor, education, rescue by the Africans of the Nile Valley. And so the question is, why shouldn't we study who these people were that were so giving and so had such a high culture that people would be educated by them and whatnot? So that's what I've dedicated my life to. Okay. You know, and I continue to teach about it and speak about it whenever I have an opportunity, like now.
Great.
Sure.
Now you wear many hats. Okay, not only are you a chief priest, you're also an artisan, a musician, a poet. I mean, you're a true Imhotep in living form. So we'll start off by talking about being a chief priest and what that process is like. How do you become a priest in the Kemetic legacy?
Well, you know, I really don't like the word priest because it sounds like the Rastaman say you're pressing down on the people. In our legacy, we call it Abu. Okay. Which means the pure ones, because that not that we are, but we aspire to the purity of Sankofa, going back to get what we had, and sharing that with our sisters and brothers. And interestingly enough, the word Abu could be traced to the dancer, you know, and we used to chant and dance in circles similar to the dervishes, and would get into ecstasy, and then we begin to have what they call possession, or as they say in the church, getting in the spirit. And we would speak, you know, the messages to the people.
Okay. Now tell us what your name means. I know earlier I mentioned it's a long name, but it's one of great beauty. Baaba Heru Ankara Samaj Se Pata. What does that mean?
Well, Baaba means spirit of spirit, and which means that I'm connected to spirit. And Heru, interestingly enough, I was born with the name Heru. My family name is George, or some say Georges, others say, I was born in Santo Domingo, La Romana. So in Santo Domingo, my mother would call us Jorges. Now, Jorges could be traced to Horus in Greek. And of course, in Kemet, it's Heru. And the British speaks of this mythical creature called Saint George, who slew the dragon. That's Heru battling Apep, the crystallization of evil. So my last family name became my first title. When I sought to comprehend what was with me, why was I so fixated, in addition to my father giving me this mission, why was I so fixated on this Egyptian thing? So in order to save my sanity, I had to look into the words that formed me, my name, to find out what's this connection here. And I was shocked to find that, hey, I have to take this title because, and interestingly enough, my mother, whose name is Amancia, which means hidden knowledge. I didn't know until I was 11 years old that her name was Amancia because everybody called her Sis. So cis connected to Isis. Yeah, I said, whoa, I think I'll take on Heru. Ankh, of course, this divine sign of life eternal, which the early Christians of Ethiopia used, by the way, as their sign of life, because it adores the African principle of the feminine womb. You know, they like to say that in the beginning was the word. We beg to differ. In the beginning was the womb. Then out of the womb came the one that uttered the word. So let's get it right. And we have to honor the divine mother. That's an African principle. The children, the offspring, the male, the seed sender. Spirit, mind, matter, water rising up, falling back, precipitating on the earth as rain, and growth of vegetation and food comes out of the ground. However you look at Ankh, it means life eternal, everlasting, and self-regenerating. So I decided to adopt this and to carry it, by the way, because Dr. Joseph Ben Jochanan, another prophet of our legacy, in his book, Black Seminarians Without a Black Theology, he called for the restoration of the Ankh. So in 1980, at Church of the Master by Dr. Eugene Callender, the presiding, I had the honor of presenting him with the Ankh. I say, you call for this in your book? Here it is. January 13th of 1980, he received his Ankh there, and he likewise received the robe of Ra. You know, and it was a very cold day. In 1982, Dr. John Hendrik Clark, he received his Ankh from the Shrine of Ptah. At that time, we went by the name the Jewels of Aton.
And this is how you had your name, Ankh-Man. That
Right.
many people know you.
Yeah,
by.
because I kept giving Ankhs to people. And the African Arts Festival, used to be known as the African Street Festival, they used to give the Ankh as their supreme honor to our elders. Yes,
I remember that.
Many different people, even Sun Ra the musician, who was a chemetophile, he received his Ankh there. Judge Bruce Wright, the one that used to call Cut 'em Loose Bruce, he got his Ankh there.
So for many
others.
years you've been creating this, and this actually brings me to my next question, because I mentioned that you are one of our royal members of the Shrine of God, and hopefully Shrine of Ma'at. But now we need to talk about the fact that you're an artisan and that you're a purveyor of these symbols and these emblems of protection that we call Sa in the Kemetic legacy. So if you could talk about, how did you learn this craft? Or I mean, how does one learn how to make these pieces? I mean, all of the pieces that I currently wear were made by your very hands. The piece that you're holding in your hand, you made by yourself. How did you learn to make this? What does this do for you? And how important is this in the legacy?
Well, to tell you the truth, first things first, it was the reclamation of the culture that has informed the art. Because there are a lot of people trying to claim that they were the ancient Egyptians. And I always say, well, if you are, let me see if you have an ancestral or hereditary memory. Because if you did, you would be then creating some of the same things, not just copying it from the stuff that you dug up from our tombs and whatnot, but you'd be actually continuing this legacy if you were the ones. So I always felt that if you're going to claim something, you've got to own it by producing from its inspiration. And so that began to percolate in my consciousness. And then I read this book by Carlos Castaneda called The Yaqui Way of Knowledge. It's about the shaman lifestyle, you know, and I was always attracted to the shamanic information and life. And I had this vision that I'm going to meet an old Mexican Indian, and he's going to teach me how to trabajo en la plata, how to work in silver. Well, I was a policeman at the time, pounding the beat in East New York, and I stopped into this jewelry store, and I told to Juan Vega, I said, Juan, I want to learn how to work the joyeria, how to make the jewelry. He said, I know just the man who will teach you. So that Saturday I went by his shop, and I met Anacleto Santiago de Colon, Puerto Rican, not the Mexican that I was projecting, but a Puerto Rican. And he said, I have a house in Williamsburg. You come, I teach you. Whenever you get your day off, you come and I'll teach you. Sure enough, I would go there every chance I got.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 year, he wouldn't let me do anything. He said, just watch.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that was your initiation.
that was my initiation. And unfortunately, he passed subsequently. And the day after I came back from his funeral is when I casted my first piece. It was a lion's head. I'm a Leo, as you can tell. I'm a real show off, and at this age, I don't care what people think about it. I like to say I'm not conceited, I'm convinced. And that's how it began, you know. And he said to me, he did not know how to sculpt. And I was looking, I had a friend of mine who was she was a Taurus and I'm a Leo. And I had a ring with a lion's head, so I could copy that.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't find a bull's head anywhere to match the lion head in size, so I can make this bracelet with a lion and the bull. So he said, don't copy anybody's stuff. He said, let me see your hands. I showed him. He says, yeah, you can sculpt. You can do your own models. Don't copy anybody. So he bought me tools, because in this trade we use dental tools and surgical tools to sculpt the wax using the lost wax process. And he got me these tools and he got me some wax. And 1 month later, I had a bull's head. And I said, wait a minute, I could do this. And from then I went crazy, sculpting everything, you know. But in addition to sculpting in wax, I would work directly on metal, like this ankh here. I got, you know, metal rods, the balls, and I soldered it together. And then I use a hand file, and I just actually sculpted on the metal. I don't do too much actual metal, hand-to-metal work anymore, because I picked up a lot of metal in my system over the years. You always pay a price for your craft. And I'm trying to chelate it out of my system by going to the ocean, you know. So, but I still do a lot of wax work. I just love it. I can't wait to get up in the morning to do this, because I get my revenge with beauty. I don't have to cuss people and tell them what liars they are. All I do is create the beauty and serve those people who have an interest. Like you inspire me so much, you and your husband, Jabari, because you all love this stuff, you know, and you wear every piece.
Right? If I had a few more fingers.
Can I make you some anklets too? Or that's
Not
next?
yet, that's coming.
I know that's coming. Yeah, you're gonna have. She got braces here. You got braces here. Yeah, the anklets are next. And your toes, you know.
Well, this is also a form of meditation for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I know you made a meditation ankh actually for my mate, for Jedamiah Jabari, who wears this piece and carries it with him everywhere he goes. It inspires him. It helps him continue to think what his next step should be in this legacy. So, I mean, these pieces are more than just what you would say jewelry. Or I know you started coining the phrase joyery.
Yeah, well, I use joy Ari now, because joy Ari means to do, to make, or to create. Joy. It says joy Ari, as opposed to jewelry. And the thing is that these are emblems of our culture, a spiritual high culture. And especially the ankh, because it supports life process. Here we are today, surrounded by death at every turn. The major patriarchal religions, the hierarchies of these various faiths, they are killing each other over the question of belief. So it's high time that we restore life as the zenith of our desire, to maintain life, to respect life. And so therefore the ankh has come back. Kemetic teachers have come back to teach those who have gone astray from the original teachings, to once again embrace life, to support life, and to honor the divine mother principle. Because it's strange, you know, whenever I lecture, I would always ask the audience, I would say, in your religion, can you give me the name of one female angel? You can always hear a pin drop. Nobody can give me the name of one female angel. So, well, what kind of heaven will there be without women? Why doesn't Gabriel have a Gabriella? Why doesn't Michael have a Michaela? In our culture, all the divinities are paired. Everything is in balance, you know. And likewise, we speak of Intera, which is our name for divinity, as a mother, father of all creation. So if you are African, you've got to regard the mother. And I would venture to say that our relationship to our women is flawed because we do not see her in Godhead.
Mm-hmm.
We do not see her as divine. And therefore, it's only the man who is, he's the man upstairs. Well, in our culture, the mother is the one who's heaven. Her name is Newt. But modern Western man has brought the woman down to earth and he's pushed the man into heaven. And of course, that creates issues with people running around with wings. And so we want to once again restore our original thought forms and our original culture by placing things in the right position, by Sankofa, going back to fetch what we had and making it operative again.
Well, you know, and you have an incredible family because, and this is something that actually drew my mate and I towards this legacy, because you practice what you preach. Within your shrine, you also have your mate, Queen Afua. Many people may already be familiar with her, and she does healing work, and she does her writings. You have your son, who will actually be on a future show. You have several of your children who are following this legacy. What is it like to be in a family that supports this idea? You know, in the belief systems today, you know, unfortunately, you mentioned that the woman is not honored, but you're in a space now where people understand you.
They always say that you can't be a prophet in your own house, and that's true. So I kept trying to find that one over time, and certainly when I met Queen, she was already into culture. I didn't have to browbeat her about culture. She was already there. She had a clarity of thought because she had cleansed her system, you know, and was on a vegetarian diet, and so it was much easier because she was not running away from it. Like a lot of us are taught. So we've been Willie lynched, so we are taught to run away from Africa, and to be everybody but who we are. And so that made it much easier. You know, they used to say that the Prophet Muhammad, that the proof of his prophetship or prophethood was the fact that his wife was his first convert, Khadijah, you know. But in my case, she was not a convert. She was already there in terms of culture. Now, everybody was trying to claim Queen, you know, the churches, the various African religions were. But she, I recall, she went away from me for about 6 months, and she went to a place called Scot Free, and I said, "Oh, we're finished." She took her son Ali with her, and for 6 months she studied the Book of the Coming Forth, known willfully misnomer the Egyptian Book of the Dead. We call it the Book of Coming Forth today from night.
Heru and Heru.
Heru and Heru. Remember your Kemetic 101. All right, yes. And she called me and she said, Baaba, you know, I had to get away from you because I wasn't sure whether this path that I was following this because it was mine or because I was in love with you. So she said, but I discovered that everything I'm reading in this book is about cleansing the spirit, about purification, and it matches my work to a T. So, of course, then she said, so your path is my path, and that's how that happened. And of course, as a result, she began to lose clients right and left, especially when she started carrying the Ankh, because long before we became mates, I had bestowed an Ankh upon her because she was doing the work of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, the sister of Isis. She helped a lot of women to bring forth new life when their tubes were blocked. You know, she gave them dietary reforms, cleansed their bodies. And I would be walking with her at the African Arts Festival, and sisters would run up to her with their baby. See, this is a Heal Thyself baby. You know, I couldn't conceive before, but because I followed the Heal Thyself book, see, I got a new baby, and on like that. So it was satisfying to finally find someone who was already there, and it made it much easier. You know.
Now,
I want to say that well, obviously we can't play the entire video, but I just want to say that I don't know how you could not be honored to have had a moment with this incredible giant. And for those of you who did not know him personally, the very fact that you are here with the Shrine of Ma'at speaks to the fact that you are connected to the legacy of this powerful now ancestor. And I want you to remember that he spent decades, his entire life, working for his people. And the only way that we rectify this Makeru, this ancestor who is true of voice, is for us to all be Baaba Heru, for us all to remember his commitment, to remember his legacy, and to ensure that as he sits in the ancestral realm, he is pleased by our work. I want to, as we're coming to a close very shortly, I want to make sure that I read a little bit. One of our very active members of the shrine wrote a prayer. I'm going to read. This is from Sinet Shenka. I want to read what she actually wrote here because I thought it was profound. Here is from Sinet Shenka. She says, O Neteru, hear us as we lift our hearts and our voices for Baaba Heru, Ankh-Ra Samad Se Ptah, and his family. Founder of the Shrine of Ptah, chief elder priest of the Shrine of Ma'at, sacred ankh carrier, a gatekeeper who opened the way for the Kemetic legacy in our time. We give dua for the life he lived, for the truths he spoke, for all the Ma'at that he sacrificed. May his Ka be strong among the shining ancestors. May his Ba soar with freedom into the arms of the ancestors of Ra. May his Ren be spoken forever in the mouths of the living and be etched on the hearts of Kemetic like the Medunetter on the walls of Merkuti. As Ptah shaped the world with divine thought and word, so did Baaba Heru shape a path for us to walk. As Ma'at sustains the order of creation, so does his legacy sustain us in this age. I want us all to remember the work of Baaba Heru and to set your divine intention and ask the ancestors to ensure that he is given a central place on the boat of Ra, and that boat travel to the afterlife smoothly, straightly, and that this sacred ancestor be placed in a seat, the throne of Asar. We know that it is through his commitment and through his journey that we are able to be who we are. We know that his struggles in the 60s and 70s led to our proper positioning in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. We know that it is only because of what he was able to do that we are able to do. And so we say dua for having had this glorious, glorious soul on the physical plane for as long as we did. We remember his tradition. We remember his commitment. We will make him proud. With that, I say, Dwanter, Dwanter, Dwawenter. I'm truly hoping that you all know we have lots of work to do because we have to make sure that the traditions and the legacy of this amazing ancestor continue to shine. We will be putting together a memorial, an in-person physical memorial for Baaba Heru. His family is going to be taking care of some of the arrangements for his transition. There will be no funeral. Baaba Heru asked to be cremated, and so that will happen. But after that process occurs, then we will have a celebration of the life and legacy of Baaba Heru. So I'm going to be looking to so many of you to assist in making this happen. We're going to need to find a wonderful place and to invite so many people that are important to Baba Heru. It's going to be a lot of work, and I know we're up to it because we were trained on the 2 celebrations we did when he was here in physical form. I'm looking forward to it. It'll probably be a few weeks from now. Please keep your ears open and be prepared to do the work. I also want to announce once again, you may know that tomorrow is autumnal equinox. We will be doing our regular autumnal equinox celebration in Central Park by the Tekken at 7 p.m. as we always do. But tomorrow's altar will be a little bit different. We will be creating an ancestral altar so that we ensure that Baba Heru is making his journey. And so with that, I want to say to all of you, dua, dua, dua. I want you all to move forward in peace and power. I want to say dua to all those folks who came forward and assisted us in our Kemetic Ascension session today. Mer Aset and Abu Sashat and Senatan and Sen Jehutimes and Abu Jamar and all of you who were really assisting us in making this the way that it was. I want to say this is a personal dua, personal thanks, because I was stronger with you all being here today. I woke up today and I said, I don't know if I can do Kemetic Ascension today. I almost feel like I just need to go for a walk. And so that is what I will do with the part of the balance of my day. I'm gonna just go into a walk in nature as Baba would have done and just feel his presence as I do so. I see a question about where the location is. If you look for the Tekken, now New York City doesn't know what a Tekken is. They barely know what an obelisk is, which is the incorrect Greek term. Ask them for Cleopatra's Needle if you're going to be there. It's going to be at 7 p.m. tomorrow. You know that for all the solstices and the equinoxes, we have a celebration. So we are going to do that. I'm really hoping that those of you who are available are able to join us. With that, I want to say the divine force in me greets the divine force in you. Please go forward and have an amazing Sunday. But don't forget, you know I'm going to say this. Get up into your altars, practitioners. Pay offering to the soul, to the glorious Ak of Baba Heru, Ankh Ra, Samaj, Sepata. With that, I want to greet you in Myrrh, and I want for you to go forward in divine peace and balance. Shemin Ma'at. We'll see you soon.